It's Friday, and what that means is that it is day 4 of 6 ways in 6 days to be a better you. So to recap what we've done so far, we've talked about day 1 was all about meditations and letting our monkeys and our brains, take a lawn chair over there, and where we just give ourselves times just to, create some quiet space for new and creative things to come to us, and really just to connect to ourselves and listen to ourselves that way. Day 2 was clearing out the energetic clutter, and that was about just dealing with all of the stuff that, maybe some old stories that you have to let go of, besides letting go of like old shoes and clothes in your closet. That's a go-to thing when we think about clearing clutter and making space. But, energetic stuff kind of weighs us down, things that we procrastinate about and just keep us in that state of carrying all that stuff around with us. Day 3 yesterday was about mindfulness, and here I was talking about paying attention to the thoughts you think, because everything that we do, we're energetic beings, so which means that we vibrate at a frequency. And on day 2, when I talked about clearing energetic clutter, I used the analogy and showed some images of a satellite. And if our energy is like very, very low, it's like this a satellite dish with their antenna just kind of hanging limp over the side. You're not going to attract to you the things that you want. And likewise, if your energy is really high, it's going to be pointing right up into the universe, and you're now vibrating at a higher level, and you're going to attract something completely different to you. So that was all about mindfulness and paying attention to what you're thinking throughout the day. And I was talking about our moods and how during the day our moods will fluctuate. And if we find that our mood is kind of tanking, to pay attention to the thoughts that we're thinking in that moment and turn those thoughts around. So that was day 3. But today's day 4, and today I'm talking about giving voice to your feelings. So what I mean by this is that if we ignore the things that we're feeling, and we try and stuff them down, it is just going to continue to build up and build up and build up. Now, yesterday, as I was talking about mindfulness, I did say, pay attention to what your thoughts are and then divert them into thinking more along the lines of thoughts that you do want and to have outcomes that you do want. But that doesn't mean that you push your feelings down and completely ignore them. I got an itchy nose. And completely ignore them. In fact, what you want to do is if you're having like real heaviness and you're going through something, you're feeling something, you actually want to be able to give those feelings a voice. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. So let's say you have a pop bottle and you drop it. It's a brand new 2-liter bottle. You drop it and then you forget that you've dropped it, and you go to twist off the cap and the whole thing kind of explodes. Our feelings are the same way. So if you continually push your feelings down, you're only going to be able to suppress them for so long before they're like completely explosive, and people around you are going like, what is going on, right? So giving voice to your feelings, here's what that looks like. It's just a matter of recognizing what it is that you are feeling and actually saying it out loud, because as soon as you give voice to that feeling, and as long as you speak it, and as soon as you say it, it takes away the power of that feeling. Have you ever noticed that? So let's say you're feeling like really, really crappy about something that's going on, and you're getting into that mental state of feeling to the point of crying sometimes, because you know how we can convince ourselves that something is really, really bad and our brain just runs away with it. notice that that's what you're doing, and in that moment, just acknowledge how you're feeling. Just say, you know what, I am feeling really shitty about this situation. I wish it wasn't like that, and I wish I didn't feel this way, and I have no control over it, but you know what, it's there and I don't know what to do about it. And so as soon as you speak it out loud, it's like talking to a friend, right? You're expressing all of those feelings. The difference being is that if you are talking to a friend, you know, sometimes it comes to the point where, you know, misery loves company, right? And you're basically commiserating and getting acknowledgement of what you're saying is to be true, right? So sometimes when you catch yourself in that downward spiral of, you know, having those negative thoughts and feelings and emotions, just say them out loud and just notice how all of a sudden that thought that you were thinking, that feeling that you're having, doesn't have that much emotional intensity, right? So again, back to our pop bottle example. So if you start to unscrew the cap just a little bit rather than taking the whole thing off and letting it spew out, just when you kind of like unscrew it a little bit, and then a little bit of the fizz comes out, right? And eventually the explosiveness isn't so heavy anymore. And that's at that point, that's when you can start, you know, replacing those thoughts, feelings, and emotions with something more positive that aligns with, more in alignment with what you do want. So that was my day 4 on giving, on 6 days and 6 ways to creating a better you. If you have any questions, go ahead. If there's anybody live, actually go ahead and ask any questions that you have about any of the content so far. And happy to answer any of your questions. And day 5 is tomorrow. It's Saturday, and then day 6 is on Sunday. So tomorrow, I've got actually quite a big topic, and really the topic relates directly, or can relate directly to dating as well. And I'm going to share a personal story tomorrow about that as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. As always, leave your comments, questions, whatever you have, and have a great Friday afternoon and Friday evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.